This is the circuit board for the flashing hotel lights. This is the replacement. This is what I usually do with this hookup wire. I don't like the stuff. It's difficult to use. That's much prettier, but it's also much fatter. The other thing is that this is a gimmick. The potentiometer there, or the variable resistor, all it's doing is providing two resistors. So none of the adjustments on that would ever work. This is the replacement. So I've built another one because it's thinner and it fits under there. Sounds like a lot of work. That's because it was. The other thing is the cables are much tidier. They're still stuck together in a ribbon on this, where on this one, yes. We had a prototype that was Mark 1. This is Mark 2. I haven't tried it yet. We'll have a look, see if it works. You may remember that the color coding I'm using, I don't know if I mentioned it, I think I did, that when you have a color code in mind, stick with it so that when something like this happens, you actually can logically work out which wire's which. The white one was white because of candles. That's all I had to remember. And could I figure out why there was an extra wire? It took me a minute. The white one for candles, the black is the negative, and all the others are windows. So there's no positive up there. At least I don't think there is. That's everything hooked up. Let's see if it works. Ooh, drum roll. All right, let's hook up a battery and see what happens. I'm trying to do it one-handed. Well, that didn't work. Let me put the camera in the tripod. Now then. There. Now, well, we've got lights going on and off. There's two off. Let me see what happens here. I'm just checking to see, does it actually work, or have I made things worse by making it tidy? I did change a few values, so that might be biting me. But we're going to wait a minute. We've learned patience on our narrowboat trip. Oh, I'm holding my breath. That's, yep, there's 3 of them working at very least. Huh. So yeah, it's working. We're not going to sit here and count which ones are and which ones aren't. The one right in the middle under the WA of railway is designed to stay on, as is one of the ones on the right, and I don't know which. But we are going on and off. Slow though, isn't it? There we go. Now there's 2 more off. Yeah, I'm happy. It's working. Wow, what a lot of work for something that simple. Sometimes the simplest things take the longest. Yes. Well, the hotel's working. While I've got it this way round, I will just hook up those street lights. Then we got to flip it around and get the lights working in the shops. We can do that today. The toy teddy, everybody's waiting for that. I've got to sit and write some code. That will not be a quick job. And I've got some catching up to do with videos, haven't I? See, I've been away for a while driving a narrowboat through locks. So that was fun, by the way. I know it's not trains and toy trains, but go and have a look. It's a whole lot of fun. But the teddy bear will be the next thing, or it's on the list. I may have to do some other jobs that take a little less time just to keep the videos coming out in a timely fashion. We'll see. So, street lights, then the shops. The Tacky Cafe sign, it works. I've just got to drop a cable down through the board and figure out a way of hooking that together. I did come up with a simple way of connecting the 5 wires. There's one wire for each of the lights and a common, of course, so that's just 5, and then I'll run a piece of cable down from there for that. These just need joining together. So yeah, we're getting there. I think I'll do that in the morning. It'll be one video for you, but I will go and have some sleepy nights. I'm still a little bit jet lagged, so we'll get that sorted out when I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. A couple of things as we progress. I really don't like these plug-in sockets. These are new to me. I think there's something to do with Arduino. They're ugly things and they're big and they don't stay connected. So I don't like those connectors. However, I've used them and we'll glue it all in place. It'll be fine. I also don't usually use physical hardwire buses like this. A piece of wire screwed at one end, pulled tight. You really see it there, look. And the reason I've done that is there's just a bit of a guitar string. There's just so many wires to connect and it becomes a little bit of a string bag. So all I've got to do now is just tack these on there. With each red wire, I'll put a resistor. So yeah, we can do that. Now, Shadow is down here with me today and she's whining because there's a card making class going on upstairs in the kitchen. And Shadow thinks she's a lady and she wants to go up there and join the ladies with that. Not happening. That's the one kind of door handle you can't open on your own, isn't it? You have made a mess with the drinking water. Everything's wet. What have you done? Yeah, I know. You're supposed to drink it, not shower the room with it. You put your head in the drinking bowl because your whole head is wet. What are you doing? That's where you want to go. I know it. Not happening. Not today. You can't be up there with all those ladies. You'll go having a little... But you are wet. I think you put your head in your drinking bowl. You've just been for a walk with me. I know. We're all panting still because it's hot outside. But you're not going out there now. Yeah. You just want to go and play with the ladies, don't you? I know about you. Put your tongue away. It's not hot in here. You've had that long walk. Dad, I just want to go and be with the ladies. Well, they don't want you up there because you knock things over and all of that good stuff. You get to play trains with me. I don't like trains today. Well, that's all right. You'll be all right with me. Yeah, I know. So this is what it looks like. There's the positive bus up there. There's a resistor hiding in there. That goes off to one of the shops. And then we have the negative bus down here. I've already joined it to there because that's the tacky cafe sign. And that's on, right now, a different voltage power supply. I need to have a look at that one. But in any case, you might remember we're going to join the negatives together to stop that potential difference between the power supplies. Little bit of heat shrink as it goes through the wood just to remind me which bus it is. That doesn't do anything. I've done everything I can from this side. Looks reasonably tidy. I'm quite happy with that. And I've put a temporary 9-volt battery clip on it. I've intentionally not shortened these LED wires, in some case curling them up. They're a nightmare to get bared again if you do that. So I've left those long. We're going to stand it up and see what it looks like so far. So what I'm expecting is all of the street lights to work and some of the shops, but not the Tacky Cafe because that's on a separate board. So let's turn this around that way so I can do it with one hand. Oh yeah. It didn't blow up and smoke, so we're in good shape. So the hotel's doing its thing. The street lights are all on. The corner cafe is lit, as is the butcher shop and the Juicy Pear. So that's all done. So the Tacky Cafe sign. I'm not going to light the upstairs windows, although there's some light leak for that one. The pub is probably the next thing. And then the toy museum with the servo. I've realised that it's been a while since we've run some trains. We've seen trains moving. I did like the Blue Peter locomotive. You haven't seen that yet. I know the members have. But when we went on the narrowboat, the canals run right beside the railway line. So we saw some fun stuff. So I've been getting my fill and fix of trains. We also rode the trains down from Edinburgh to Stoke-on-Trent and back again. Yeah, it's been a while since I've ridden trains in England. I like it. But here's something else. You may have seen this boat before, but there's another one, and there is a lock. Now, I believe this is Scaledale. The gates are missing and it's a bit broken up. But my brother gave me this some years ago, and now I've got a reason to use it, haven't I? That might be me at the back of that one. Ah, yes, you see, that one says Scaledale. Interesting. The only thing I'd say about the accuracy is there's not that much room either side of the boats when they go in. Yes. Yeah, I think we can fix this up. We do need to find the gates, that's for sure. Yeah, that looks a bit suspect too, doesn't it? We'll see what we can do with this. Very interesting. It must have a Gardner engine. You see that? That's the engine room. 8 of the 10 windows are out. Oh, they all came on at once. Something's weird's going on there. That was interesting. Wonder if I've got a wire touching somewhere. We'll just wait and see. Of course, the next thing I have to do is turn it around, turn the whole street around, and work on the backs of some of the buildings, in particular the pub and the toy museum. I should have put the servo underneath before I stood it up. This won't be here, of course. I'm just seeing what I've got. That'll go on the end board once we get down that way. Well, this is working. Not sure quite what it's doing right now. It's unusual that, oopsie, nope, they're all coming on and off. It's in a bit of a sequence right now where the timing is strange, but it is working. Love it. Since the narrowboats are going to be very close to an underground station, I wonder which underground station is closest to a canal boat. Certainly Euston and King's Cross aren't far away, but I wonder which one is closest. What an interesting question. Answers in the comments. Almost everybody's tucked up in bed. It is rather special, isn't it? Well, there we go. Found the gates and the gate for the other end, and even the walking path where you push the gate open or closed. And the paddles. I mean, we wouldn't have known what those were before. Yeah, lovely. We shall make use of all of that. Now, I suppose I could ask Hornby, since that's Scaledale, what the name means, and since that's Ludensian and this is Luda, I have a feeling it's Latin, because that without the Ian, Ludens, is the Latin to play. And I wonder if they intended that to mean playtimes or one who plays. But I love that it's sort of not quite right. See, I had to do a bit of Latin when I was in school. I thought it looked familiar. Now, if that is the case, Scaledale were actually being a little bit clever. Huh, who knew? If I had a boat, what would I call it? Don't know, never thought about it. What would you call a narrowboat, knowing me? with all the trains. Yes. Now I've let the hotel run a little bit. I'm a little concerned because the circuit does appear to be voltage critical, which is definitely not a good thing. So I will have to hook it up to a proper power supply and see what it does. I put a new battery on it and it did all kinds of weird things, but now with this old battery, it's working just fine. So it may be a current thing. Those resistors actually do pass quite a bit of current to ground. That's the clean circuit diagram. That's the circuit diagram with a few values. What I've done, instead of that potentiometer, I've just split it into two resistors. The capacitor itself can be the source of a problem because with so many of them, there's 8 of course, and they're fairly big. All the time they're charging, they're drawing current, or will appear to the power supply to be drawing current. May have to put a resistor in series with those. But it was just a fun project. Let's get some trains running, shall we? I did not get to Chester Cathedral. I wish I had. But the making tracks, I did read the articles on it. And one thing intrigued me. The whole idea of taking the layout on the road and how they made those umbilical cords between the boards. If you don't know what I'm talking about, think of that bunch of cables going from there to there, having to be cut and plugged and socketed. Now, some of them would be standard. You'd have the DC buses, and you would also have the Digitrax LocoNet. But there are some fairly specific blocks and that kind of thing. So whilst the plugs themselves might be similar, what's going through them would be different. I think. But I'd have to have a think about that. Why am I talking about it? I'm not planning to move house, well, at least not yet. But if I ever did, I'm starting to think, what would happen if I needed to move this layout? So that's a thought, isn't it? In some ways, it's been so built into the house that I probably would start again. But what if you had to? What would you do? So we may talk about that. One of the standard tricks, of course, on the ends is to cut it back here where the curves start. And there's a similar section there. So that if you made a piece that went the other way around, as it were, so that this ended up over there, you could actually make this into an exhibition layout. The biggest problem I would have, I think, is the backdrop, because that's glued to the wall. But I am thinking about putting this layout on the road. It's nowhere near to the standards that it needs to be at this point. But here in America, can you imagine exhibiting an English layout? Be interesting, wouldn't it? Thought has crossed my mind. Let's leave it at that. But I've got a long way to go before I can do anything, let alone take it on the road. It's all rather fragile. But it is the sort of silly thing I'd do, isn't it? Now then, just a quick update on third rail planning. A number of you have suggested, why don't I use N-gauge track? That's what that is. Over here, that wasn't the case, but I learned the hard way. That bit looks all right. Here's some absolute frustration for you. This piece of track here, I had glued, and it has now fallen over. Now how that happened, I have no idea. It fell over and it was laying on its side. Now I've got glue everywhere to clean up. So yeah, but gluing the track does seem to be one of the ways that works. Putting little pins in and soldering to it would be another way. I'll have a look at that as well. Just need to clean that up before we run a couple of trains. We're not done. I'm going to turn it around. I just need to clean my desk up, but that's it in situ. Rather lovely. I don't like the reflection of that lamp on that backdrop. I'm going to have to do something about that. This one's leaning, but that's all right. Other than that, we're doing well. It has been 2 whole weeks since trains ran. Ooh! One of the things I'm looking at is, can I put the EMUs in the short fiddle yard that's where the steam trains are now? So I'm going to just try that with one of them. So that's the exercise, but we'll have to move a whole bunch of trains around to do it. I hate when that happens. I reached for the mouse and I was moving my tape measure around. Yes. I really should lift all of this out of the way, but I think we're in good shape. Don't think there's anything in the path of the train. Now, why did it stop? Because it's the schools and does that. Of course we need the retaining wall in front of that, but I can hide that there. The street does look rather special with the train going past. Yeah, it's coming nicely. Here's a sad sight. Locomotive stuttered. I thought, I know what that is, and sure enough, the traction tyre has come off. I believe this is the locomotive that happened to before on the other side. So I'm going to put it back on one last chance, but it does mean I have to order some of those and figure out a way of putting them on. Shame. Well, there it goes with its tyre back on. Yeah, that's frustrating. I don't like those traction tyres. You need it on those locomotives, but yeah, not a good situation. Well, this is a first. Didn't mean to send the underground train that way, but I kind of need it out of the way. It looks right going over the scissor crossing. It should look good coming out of a tunnel too, I suppose. I hope it does come out of the tunnel. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I haven't got that sorted out yet. That shouldn't stop there, it should stop way up there. Well, this is what I intended to try. Does this train fit in the short fiddle yard? I remember that site at Dover. Yeah, the red lights disappearing into the tunnel. Well, I'm fooling around trying to make trains fit where they've never been, so it's going to be a lot of very boring programming. I'm going to play with that for a little while, then we're going to get back on with finishing up the high street, and we'll go from there. That's it for today. Hope you've enjoyed the time I've been away. Couple of train videos coming, maybe 1 or 2. Edinburgh Waverley Station. What a mess! Lovely and interesting, but oh my word. And then Crew with Blue Peter. So I've got a little bit of video footage for that I thought you'd like to see, so I'll pop that in one day. But that's it for today. If you like to see these videos a few days in advance, as soon as I make them, I pop them up for the members, and then they're sequenced every other day or so for everybody. So you'll get to see them whether or not you remember, but quicker if you are. Thanks for watching. See you next time.